This is my top 16 best of three from the Milan Materia Cup. I was against an Italian guy called Mike Malcolm, rather. He was on Ice Wind Crystals and I was on Fire Ice Warriors. I was the higher seed from Swiss, so I got to choose to go first. Going into the match, I was pretty confident because Icewind doesn't have a lot of removal. Some versions run the Varn that you can spend two crystals to do 4k. Then I didn't know at the time, but obviously you can see from the list he doesn't. So that leaves just Yuffie who can spend two crystals to 8k something. And after that, the only real thing is bouncing a duel forward with Kadaj, and then at the end of turn forcing you to discard, but you need to have got them down to no card in hand in the first place. So basically, I'm thinking it's going to take 3 or 4 turns for that to happen. And in the meantime, I'm going to get an early Tybus and I can be playing my guys for free and basically just swarm the field. And he can't really kill any of them, or he can only kill one at a time. Maybe he'll freeze some of them, but I should have enough removal to just kill anything he does put down and just keep spitting out dudes. And it's going to be, he doesn't have a board wipe, so it should be fairly straightforward in my eyes. So I open with the standard Elwyn to go search Tyvus, and then I'm going to pass. And next turn, I'm looking to do Tyvus Morg plus a second backup. So I'll pass to him. He plays a Dragoon back up and gets Spawn Crystal. And just passes to me. So straight in with the Tyvus. I've discarded a Sidwoth because I have two in my hand, so that's going to be my second backup. I'm just working out what's the best way to discard to make sure I can play the Sidwoth. So search the Morg, deploy, draw, and then use an ice card to play the Sidwoth. And I've got a Seymour in hand, so I'm thinking I'm going to go to town on the next turn. It's just a case of seeing what he can do. He discards to play another backup that generates a crystal and then pays 3 with this undead princess, which is annoying because I have to discard. So my other card was Ame, so discard that, but now he can play the Bart. He flips Yuffie and Yazoo, and he gets his crystals again. And then he's going to use one of those crystals to freeze one of my backups, which is extra annoying because now I can't do the Seymour play because I can pay 5 next turn, but I won't be able to pay the extra 1. But I draw into Axstar and something to deploy, which is Yuzuki. So I'm just checking, is there any reason not to do this? No, don't think so. So I'm going to go to combat, swing with Tybus, and then before blocks, deploy. He's going to dual freeze the bots, deploy, and then shoot this Yuzu. So just explaining that. So dual freeze first, then deploy, and then shoot for 9 on that Yuzu. And then the attack from Tyrus is coming in. He takes damage, and then pass because only Morg can attack and he's smaller than the Undead Princess. So I've still got that Seymour in my hand as well. So if he doesn't freeze one of my backups, or make me discard, of course, that Seymour's coming down next turn. It's extra nice because now the Yuzuki's on the field, so that Yuffie that he drew, the 8k shots won't hurt my fire forwards. So it's an extra bonus. Um, he goes for the Kadaj, um, and he can now bounce the duel forward back to my hand. So I've only got one card. So he misplays here because he could bounce Tybus back to my hand, and then at the end of the turn I'd have to discard both cards, which is Seymour. He doesn't know it, but Seymour and Tybus, but he chooses not to. So I don't know why. So unfortunately, I lose the Seymour, but Axstar can swing in for 9k. So again, I'm just wondering, is there anything I should be worried about that would stop it being 9k? So I'm thinking, do I play an LB card just to make sure, or do I just keep these cards? And I think, no, there's no reason not to just add another body to the field because, as I said at the beginning, he can't kill. He doesn't have a board wipe, and I have the Wooklamat anyway. So I wanted to play the Surges first to make sure I had 8 characters, so that even if he does bounce one of them, there's still 7 on field for Wook to deal the 9k. So Wook has taken out that Kadaj, and then Axor can swing in to take out the other one, and then there's no more blockers, so Mog and Yuzuki can also attack. So he's on 4 damage. I've got 5 attackers ready to go. 2 of them will kill things that he tries to put in the way. So this is exactly the sort of game that I was envisaging when I saw the matchup. He's kind of realizing that there isn't really anything he can do at this point. So he plays another backup to draw a card and get a crystal, but it doesn't really help in any way. To be honest, I'm not sure what he could do at this point. And then he's got 3 cards now in his hand, but one of them is this light Benar. Um, so he chooses to play that in the end. But as I said, I've got 2 things that would just kill it. Although it has a on death trigger, you can play a crystal to remove something. So I've got 5 attackers, so I only need to do 3 damage. So I could kill it and just let that happen, but I can just use a Kuja to do it out of the way, and then I've got nothing to stop me. So I've done that out of the way, and then 5 attackers, bang, 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 and there we go, game one, just as I planned. So yeah, I'm feeling very confident at this point. It's barely, I think it was 12 minutes on the clock, so I've got tons of time left, and I just need to win one of the next 2 games. But you know, I'm feeling like basically that's exactly the way I thought the game would go, and hopefully I can do the same in the next one. What's weird is he lets me go first, even though he had the choice. So I'm not sure why that would be the case. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking just going to do the same thing again. Mulligan because I don't have either Elwyn or Nagy or Tyrus himself. And then I can't remember if I did have Tyrus at this point. I think I did. So I've just played the Sidwoff backup and then I've got Tyrus ready to go, I believe. He plays the Dragoon that draws a card and generates a crystal. And then he also plays Ice Crystal Generator. So in the first game, he only had wind backup, so at least now he's color fixed. So yeah, and again, just working out the best way to pay for this Tyrus, which will help me then play a second backup afterwards. So I have a Mog in hand, so deploy first to see what I draw, because that might affect my search decision. And then I want to search for a fire backup because I've got a nice one already. But my backup in hand is actually Selfie, so I decide I'll pitch the ward to play the Selfie and get it back and then pass. So I thought the ward might be more useful then. I didn't need to search Axstar at this point, I thought, because I might draw into him. I've still got the Elwyn and the Nagy to search him if need be. And Ward, he might play something like an Undead Princess or one of the smaller remnants, and the Ward can just kill it without the need to go full on with an Axstar, and then maybe save Axstar for later, like as a top deck. So yeah, he plays this Undead Princess, generates another crystal and makes me discard. So ironically, I discard the Ward, and now he plays the Yuffie. So he's going to remove 2 things to generate 2 more crystals, and then she can start shooting things. So he goes up to 5 crystals now. So he decides he's going to use them to kill this Tybas. So he does two lots of 8k, which takes him down to one crystal. So this is a much better start for him. But I've drawn a Seymour, so I decide he's gone empty-handed. So even though Seymour doesn't get the discard trigger, he can dual freeze his backups. He's now top deck two things. So I don't think he's going to be able to do anything to deal with this Seymour with two cards and two frozen backups. Um, so yeah, he just passes back to me, and now I know that I can get another trigger from Seymour. So he can buff the Yuffie to 9k and then potentially block the Seymour. So obviously I don't want that trade to happen. So I'm trying to decide what's the best way to stop that happening. So I decide to try and dull it with Surges because he's either going to let it happen or he's going to spend his crystal to protect her, which means she'll remain at 8k and can't block the Seymour. So he's just debating, do I protect her or just let her go dull? So he protects her. But that means I can dual freeze the backups and make him discard and then Seymour swinging in. So he takes the damage. So similar situation, this time he's got three cards. So he could potentially do something to this Seymour. But again, he can't use his backups to play whatever he's drawn. And he's got no crystals now as well. So he decides to attack and I'll just let it through because I don't want to allow him to play another one. Plus now I've got potentially three attackers, although Mog's smaller than the Yuffie. And obviously he doesn't want this Seymour to attack, so he's thinking, how can I stop it attacking? So he decides to do a Surges to freeze it, and that way he can keep one of his cards. There's an argument to just commit to doing a Kuja, who then can keep dulling Seymour. Um, so he's got one card in hand, but no crystals. So Yuffie is vulnerable because he can't spend a crystal to protect her. So I'm thinking, do I do LB Vincent now to kill her because I've not drawn anything that will kill her with her entry effects? So that's what I'm weighing up. Do I go for it now that he's not able to protect her? And then I decide, yes, I think it's worth it because I'll then have the four attackers. Um, if he wants to stop the Seymour again, he's going to have to either top deck something or commit to a Kuja. And then I've still got the three other attackers. And all the time I'm thinking I can top deck into something good like an Axstar or a Tyvus. So it's looking okay, but there is a chance that he could have a comeback here. But he needs to do something about the Seymour, obviously. Should say on the previous turn, I could have attacked with Surges, but he would probably have blocked with his Surges, which would have allowed him to play another one to freeze Seymour more cheaply. So that's why I didn't bother attacking. He's obviously not drawn anything that will freeze this Seymour, so he's looking at his LV and thinking, oh, I'm going to have to play Kuja because that's the only way to stop Seymour attacking. So that's what he does. So he's going to have to pitch two cards, go down to one in hand again. So I'm okay with this because again, like he's spending his resources, he's only got one card left. I just keep putting out dudes and he can't. Eventually, he's going to run out of ways to freeze them. And all the while, I might draw into an Akstar or a Tyvus. I haven't got it at this point, so I'm wondering, do I bother doing anything or just hold on to my three cards and then hope to go big on the next turn? I could play an LB card, just as I say, just keep it, the bodies coming. But obviously, if I'm going to attack and pay the one for Seymour, I need to keep my backup active. So I go to combat, sure enough, he doubles Seymour, attack with Vincent, and he chooses to block the Surges. Um, but now he can play another one. So again, I'm feeling okay. So he has to keep the Kuja can't really attack. It has to be there to keep stopping Seymour. But he's found another Yazoo who can generate the two crystals, and now he can dual freeze Seymour without needing to play his Surges. So I guess he's just deciding what does he use these crystals for. So yeah, chooses to spend one double free Seymour, and he's got one remaining crystal. He gets an attack in, and then back to me. So there we go. Finally top deck an Axar. So this should be the basically the turning point where he can't come back from. So just working out what do I want to deploy off this Axtar and do I want to try and attack first? I've got a Therian in hand, so I think it's better rather than attack with Vincent, it's better to deploy the Therian first and then at least I'll get to draw. So Axar's going to dual freeze Vincent, but it's fine because I'm going to draw when the Therian attacks. So play Axtar, dual freeze, and then there's already three things on field, so I can shoot that Izu. So again, he misplays here because he chooses to dull the Vincent with Kuja, who was already going to get dull rather than something else, but never mind. And then now I can attack with Fury and draw a card. And yeah, he doesn't have any blockers because he chose to attack with the Undead Princess. So yeah, he's on what, 5 damage, and I've got 4 attackers plus 2 dual frozen ones, and one of them is Axstar, who's gonna mess things up. And he's got 3 cards in hand. All we can do is play another LB, which is Surges, to freeze one of the attackers, which is the Surges, the biggest one. Probably should have frozen Therian, to be honest, but I guess you might be thinking I could activate it with a water card. I've still got the Axstar to swing in for at the minute 9k, so that'll take out one of these 2 blockers, and then Kuja could do the other. So that's what I'm doing, playing a Kuja. That's going to do a 1, and that's going to swing and kill the other, and then I'll be able to swing through. So use that to get that one out of the way, swing, kill that one, and then he tries to resurrect Edge to field, which is actually illegal because Edge can only be done on your turn. But I didn't know that off the top of my head, and because the card's in Italian, I didn't bother to read it. So that shouldn't have happened. And then thankfully, people watching spotted it and then notified the judge because they missed it. So we play on a bit, and then I get fearing for a strike to stop the Edge. I would have won anyway, but it basically he lives another turn because of that. But then as he's doing his next turn, someone comes in to say, "Hang on a minute, that shouldn't have happened." So there you go. Here comes the savior to say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, that's illegal." And then yeah, it's getting to me. So yeah, very pleased. 2 games, very quick. The strategy went the way I expected, and yeah, that was me through to the quarterfinals. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and see you again.